Good morning. Good morning. It's 2:48 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. I was having a conversation with my wife yesterday, and I said I've grown. I don't know if I said I've grown in my faith or I've grown so much in who I am. But I said anytime I start feeling levels of anxiety or fear or worry, it's an automatic indicator. My indicator light goes on. Before I may have to search. It may be something immediately in front of me, you know, kind of like if a car is coming at you in traffic, it's an immediate sense of danger. But when it's not always as evident as a car coming at you and you start feeling a certain kind of way, I know at least for me, I can't speak for other people, but for me, I said I've almost can guarantee that it has something to do with a decision that I either did or did not make. And what happened in saying that was I took a whole lot of power back. You know, because when we feel fear or anger or worry, you know, too often it's expressed as an external, you know, this is something outside of me that's happening to me. And when it's outside of you happening to you, it's almost like a helpless feeling. But I'll give you a couple examples and then I'll go back to the point that I was making. When you're broke and you can't pay your bills, then you have this overwhelming feeling that the landlord is going to evict you, or that you're going to be late on your mortgage, or that they're going to repossess your car. But in reality, what it is you failed to do the right thing with the money when you had it. Because I guarantee if you looked at your budget, or if you looked at your income and then you looked at your outcome, and your outcome being the money that goes out to the bills that you have to pay, I guarantee you make enough income to take care of the outcome. And when you don't do that, there's a consequence. And so often it's that consequences is treated as an external versus an internal, and you feel helpless. So to go back to what I was saying, I said, you know, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. And I said, the last time I felt this way, it had something to do with the decision or the way that I had conducted myself. And I said, I wonder if I conduct myself like this, under this circumstance, will I get a different feeling? And you know, I was spot on, because I went and corrected whatever it is that I felt I had just did that created that feeling of anxiety or fear. And everything went back to normal. But then you got to ask yourself, why are you making bad decisions? And sometimes it's just because you have a self-destructive behavior. On such a deep level, you don't even know you're doing it. Like if you kept a journal, you'd find out you've been going through the same financial cycle every single month. Income changed, the income hasn't changed, the bills haven't changed. Income, matter of fact, you might have started making more money. Bills haven't changed. You know, incidentals here and there. But absolutely nothing has changed. And when you can take the power back, which is what you ought to do, should do. There's no such thing as I'm in a bad relationship. No, you just leave. Well, we have kids together. You just leave. dysfunctional relationship, last time I checked, has never done anything beneficial for some children, but raise more dysfunctional children, which go on to have dysfunctional relationships, which go on to carry on that same dysfunctional tradition. Well, we got a house together. The house can be sold. Well, we have time invested into it. Yeah, you keep playing around, you're going to have even more time invested into nothing. Huh. That's why sometimes you see people getting divorces after 20 years. They probably should have happened year 3. They decided to give it 17 more years and see if something they knew wasn't going to change would change. But how much more power do you get when it becomes an internal versus an external control? Because even the feelings that I have, I want to make sure I'm in control of that. Listen, if a car's coming directly at me, that's fine. I want to know that I'm still in control of praying to God and saying my last confession. Or confessing my Lord and Savior before me and that car decide to go into impact. Where and what can I have control over? And too often I see all the power going to an external force, when in reality the decision and the choice is yours. And we're going to make bad decisions, and we're going to make decisions that put us in predicaments. But understand that you made the decision. You either learn from it and grow from it, or you vow to repeat the same thing again. Those are your options. So I went back and I corrected what I had done, and I made some adjustments and came back, and that fear and anxiety had went away, which led me to believe that it was the way I felt was as a result of my decisions. See, it's never anybody else's fault how your life turns out. If you give me an example on where it's somebody else's fault how your life turns out, I'll give you an example on why that's not reality. And even somebody who's been raped. Yeah, it's a traumatic situation. Yeah, it shouldn't happen. But you have a choice on whether or not you're going to carry that around as some type of badge that is emblazed on your heart. Or yeah, your loved one passed away, and yeah. I've always found that it's best to learn from things that happen, to grow from the things that you're learning, and to let go. See, learning, the reason why you want to learn is because learning is what helps you let go. Learning teaches you to let go. And the more you learn, the more it's easier for you to let go. Or not make the mistake again. If you learn from a past relationship, what it should teach you is to let go of dysfunctional behavior. Or what it should teach you is not to create a dysfunctional atmosphere. But either way, you're still in control. There's not a situation that you're not in control over. Yes, do your emotions get involved? Absolutely. But you got to remember something about emotions. Emotions don't always make the best decisions. Matter of fact, we're taught to not make important decisions emotionally. So you can take the power back. If you can identify your role in the problem. You know, even this Kobe Bryant thing, I mean, that's sad. I mean, think about it. It's if you magnify, if you really put this thing under a microscope, it's not just sad because Kobe Bryant, everybody knew this famous athlete, this probably the best that did it. I mean, I put him right up there with Jordan. I really do. Like, straight up, like the winning mentality, the heart. I just refused to quit, refused to give up. Did it without certain players. When you put it under a microscope, there were 7 other people on there besides him and his daughter. A husband and a wife and a daughter who left behind a son and a daughter. A wife who left behind a child and a husband. I mean, it's so far-reaching. It's so far-reaching. It went past Kobe Bryant and his daughter. But you learn to understand you can stay stuck in that moment of time because they're gone. Their bodies may be here in some type of form or fashion, but their spirits are gone. Their spirits have departed this land. And you have a decision now that we know what happened to a degree, who's here, who's not. I exercise my decision not to become emotionally involved in something that's already emotionally involving, because there's nothing I can do but pray. And that's where I take power back. I take power back in prayer. And that's why I win. Because even though that's something that was very big, very dramatic, very traumatic, I have a choice. The news media's job is to try to cram and force things down your throat, and their job is to keep ratings up, and their job is to keep advertisers happy, and their job is to report the news, and their job is to keep reporting it, and only report it if it's relevant to making people watch or pay attention, which ultimately ends up into more ad dollars. News has to be reported on, but how many times are you going to talk about the same plane? How many times are you going to talk about the same 9 people? How many times are you going to talk about the circumstances, the situation? I get it. Memorialize them. Remember them. But how many times you're going to keep trying to change my perspective, my attitude, my emotions? How much longer are you going to try to keep the public emotionally charged over something that they can't do anything about? And when you report it, you don't report it as if you have control over it. You report it as if you have no control, and I want you to feel helpless. As tragic as it is, I turned it off. I love social media, and well, not social media, but I love things like YouTube because I can be selective. Instead of watching about the accident, I watched about how these NBA superstars were talking about their memories of Kobe Bryant. So I could be selective about what I take in because that is a choice. What the news is given to you is not a choice. They're asking you to stay in a state of fear, in a state of flux. So all things you have a choice in. Whether you exercise that or not, that is up to you. That is what you do. That is what you choose to do. You either want to live in the pain or you want to get over it. You have that choice.